Welcome to Gab and Jam, episode 144. Our topic today is the vinyl album back?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm asking this question because though we're in the digital age and everything is online and everything is easily digestible in those little chunks and people have said, oh, don't release an album, only release singles. Vinyl is back. Also, CDs never left, and people are even pressing cassettes.
Yeah. I mean, that's the most surprising part to me is what has been going, the vinyl revolution, and even cassettes coming back. I mean, I like to some extent, I think I can get it more with vinyl than cassettes. Okay. I mean, because meaning that there is a certain feeling to vinyl. I mean, it's you do get the album.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna talk about 4 reasons we think that it's making a comeback.
Yeah, so and then the sound quality, the sound of it. So I'm not gonna just say the sound quality of it as much as I'm gonna say the sound of it. It's almost like recording to the 2-inch 24-track tape. There's a certain sound to that.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I didn't have that on the list.
Than, from the analog perspective. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, because digital is this, computer perfect interpretation of what you've done. But tape, it adds something. So it captures, but it adds a certain amount of quality, character to it. And that's the same thing that happens with vinyl. When they're going through the pressing and all the rest of that kind of stuff. People who actually make vinyl records. I mean, we noticed that when we were doing the 12 inches a while back, there's an art to that. Yeah. And it actually does, when it's mastered from vinyl, it actually does impact the final thing that you listen to. So I think that's what brought it back for audiophiles. Okay. And then, young kids.
Oh, well, I got a whole
especially
list.
Especially have gotten into it too.
It sounds like you're hitting on one of the 4 reasons that we think vinyl is making a comeback. The first thing on the list is people are nostalgic. So older folks want to get back to the things that they're fond of. So some of them still have their record collection. Yeah. And then younger people, I know, like our daughter, feel like they missed out on the golden 80s and 90s and they want to somehow capture that age and do a lot of the things that were popular back there then.
Yeah, and I really say like the 80s because I think like the 90s was when everybody was kind of turning to the CD thing. You couldn't wait to get a CD burner. You couldn't, everybody was going towards that thing of putting out a CD. Whereas, like the 70s and the 80s was all about the vinyl.
So Friday have them going back to 8-track.
Yeah, right.
I don't think.
Yeah, not yet. And which is actually superior to cassette. But go ahead.
All right. The second reason why we think vinyl might be making a comeback is this whole slow movement is popular. And what I mean by slow movement is food that's cooked over time. So like those Sunday dinners or crock pot stuff, fashion that is homemade and original. And now an entire album's worth of music versus just the one-off single digital download. There's something about just enjoying slowly and consuming the whole album.
Yeah, I think that that all kind of really makes sense. I think people want to, especially from artists who have that viewpoint, people want to hear an entire statement, and I think that was the same thing like with, Taylor Swift's record and things like that. It's like people who have something to say that they want to digest the whole thing together. Right. And I'm finding too that there are people who want to, or even artists who are encouraging listeners to listen to it in the sequenced order. So this lets me know that even with artists, that they're feeling like, hey, look, I want this to be digest it this way, and I want this sequencing to work. And that was something about vinyl. I mean, I think that I kind of missed that too when we moved over to CDs. There was something about having side 1 and side 2.
Yeah.
There was something about that. It's like when we did Cecilia Soul Food a long time ago. So we had side 1 was all acoustic.
Yeah.
And then it was like side 2 was all electric. And so thinking in terms of a cassette, that worked.
It did.
When it got laid into a CD, it's like, you could see that the songs are broken up, but it just doesn't do the same thing. It's that thing where you got to flip it over, because you have to take a break, a pause, either flip over your cassette or flip over the album to now hear this other side.
And then it's kind of like another type of entryway, just like the kickoff of the album.
Yeah.
And the
closing.
Yeah.
I mean, and that used to always get it too. It's like, I wanted to have those songs that felt like they were good for either kicking it off or closing. And so, I mean, it does add to the experience that you actually have to do that, so I can understand that with artists.
All right, the third reason why vinyl is making a comeback that we're thinking is the case is that there's a movement to experience the physical product.
Right.
This is what you were talking about.
Right.
Something you can touch, where you can look at the album art, and it just helps you go on that musical journey. It all adds, it's like one big package.
Yeah, people used to do that, read the liner notes and all the rest of that kind of stuff. And
that's a big deal.
Right. It was an adventure to
have
do
the
that.
lyrics all in there.
Yeah, you get the lyrics. I mean, I think the one album I really remember kind of consuming that way, and I think it was the first time I really consumed that way, was Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life. It was a double album that also had a 45 with it.
Oh,
I think it was Ebony Eyes and Saturn that was on that 45. But it was the first thing that it was like this epic thing that you were looking at, and so you had the lyrics to all these songs, and then on that album Stevie Wonder had so many like grand songs. There's songs that you just knew were just opuses.
I know.
You know what I mean? It was like it was just unbelievable what that record meant. I was like 11 years old when I was hearing that for the first time. So yeah, I mean, that whole experience was unbelievable. And another one was also, and it was before this, wasn't a double album. That's the Way of the World by Earth, Wind & Fire. As yet, just another one of those kind of records that I remember going through all the lyrics, learning all the lyrics to Yearn and Learn and Shining Star, all these songs, just like, wow, this is unbelievable. So
right, so it's like you go into their world.
Yeah, completely.
And then number 4, the fourth reason why vinyl is making a comeback is that you want, again, a complete story of the album. It's like reading a book. Having the entire album lets the reader enter the world created by the artist, which is what we just said.
Right.
And when you're really into an artist, that's what's been frustrating for me, is that there are some songs I'm like, oh, I like that song. And I'm still going to go back to Flume because that was that one song. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go find out, all the stuff that whatever this band or whoever this person is, and then I go find out, oh, it's a one-off, and this is some singer that he hired, and it just I just had no commitment now to that artist.
Right.
Versus if I like somebody, like, now with the Fantastic Negrito or whatever, now when the thing is downloaded, I get it instantly, but I also would like to see, I went online so I could get ready to order the package that had the vinyl, and it's got the all the art and all that. So again, it's that whole experience that we're talking about.
That's true. I mean, I think I think about that with rock albums like Rush's 2112. 2112, that song is side A. And it's all the movements of that song. And that's 2112. And then you go on the other side, and then you get these other songs that are on there, right?
Wow.
But it is it's a completely different
it kind of brings you closer. You feel that you are closer to the artist versus again just the one off. I continue to be frustrated by that. So I guess maybe I'm not the only one, because that seems like that is what people are kind of like about the whole vinyl experience.
Yeah, I think musically that's kind of the way artists, of like modern artists,
Mm-hmm.
that's the way that you make your statements. I mean, that is it. I mean, I can't think of experiencing Miles Davis's Kind of Blue just in terms of singles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, because it's the whole record that makes it awesome. You know, I mean, it's so
and it endears you to it makes a fan of you.
It you know, it's the same thing for me. It's like, you know, as I started to get into the Beatles and things like that, and you know, you hear about the Sgt. Pepper album, but as I started to get into them, it's like, no, it's like the one for me is like Revolver.
Oh, wow.
You know, that's like the pinnacle record for me. You know, I mean, but I've even switched up on that. It's like, no, it's Rubber Soul.
Right.
You know, no, it's Abbey Road. So, but each time it's experiencing all of these songs together. It's not just picking not just picking out these singles.
Yeah.
You know, it's the whole thing that does it. So
yeah, I like that. So what do you think? Are vinyl albums right for you?
Yeah.
And I know we have a lot of vinyl loving friends, so I'm expecting a yes, but maybe no.
Yeah.
The question is, are you ready for Sugar Fit on vinyl? We've had a few friends who have asked. They're like, okay, I know you got all this digital and you're going to have a CD, but where is the vinyl album? If you are one of those people who want the vinyl album, there is a link below for a Patreon that you can contribute in order to make the vinyl album happen. It will be 2 discs.
Yeah, it will be 2.
Because it's too much music. You know, vinyl, you get a limited amount of music on each disc.
Yeah, and the thing we didn't want to do was to cut it short if you got vinyl, and so you would only get 8 songs or something like that. No, we like you to get the whole thing,
the entire album, and you get all the lyrics and all the album art and all its glory. We don't want to scrimp on it. So if you're serious about your vinyl addiction, come on and click the link below and go ahead and contribute so that we can make that happen soon.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you want the digital, you can head on over to bandcamp.com/Prejippie and order your digital. And then if you like CD, some people just want the physical, but it's not that deep, you can order that too over at Bandcamp.
At Bandcamp too, that's right.
If you dig the vibe, be sure to
subscribe.
We're wishing you love, peace, and
chicken grease.